Wasabi gangsters, here to talk books. Let's give another reading writing update as we do every week. Just a heads up, next week, I'm not sure. It's the Thanksgiving, it's a holiday. So I'm not 100% sure I'll have something out for you next week, but I may record something on Sunday, like a top five, maybe top five series situation. We'll see how I'm feeling. Seriously, just depending on how much work I'm able to get done this weekend. So let's dive into what I finished reading this past week. I'm going to show you guys covers of books that are related to the books that I read that aren't actually the books because I read them on my Kindle and I don't want to jump between covers. First, I finished The Dregs of Empire, and I'm showing you Ashes of Man by Christopher Ruocchio because Dregs of Empire takes place at the end of Ashes of Man, well, after Ashes of Man, before Disquiet Gods. And I'm all caught up. I just have one more short story in Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 3, based on Jake from Nerd Level Rising finishing his Tales of the Sun Eater short stories. I feel confident going into that final short story, even knowing that the spoiler exists. It's probably for a purpose based on Christopher Ruocchio's recommendations and how he suggests to read the series. So I'm going to be getting into finishing that short story probably this week, before next week. And then right after I picked up, I'm going to show you guys Bone Hunters, but I'm referring to Night of Knives, the novella by Ian C. Esselmont. This is Bone Hunters by Stephen Erickson. One of my reads next month, going into December. I'm caught up now in terms of the reading order to the Bone Hunters, and I'm so stoked to get into this one. I hear it's a lot of people's favorites, although Jake said Toll the Hounds was his favorite. And so I'm very excited after having read Night of Knives. A part of me was like, wow, I really wish I read Night of Knives before going into Gardens of the Moon. But then I don't know if I would have had the appreciation of everything that takes place in Night of Knives had I done that. And so reading it in the publication order in the way that they wanted to kind of convey their information, I feel like I got the full experience. And us from the Red Company, myself, Jake from Nerd Level Rising, Chris from Bearded Book Beast, and Alex from Iskandaria have been talking about it. And it feels like we did the right thing in terms of a reread. When I do go back eventually and reread the series in like 4 years or 3 years or whatever, whatever Jake does, I think I'm going to start in chronological order. So I will be reading Night of Knives first. Just to get that experience and see what it feels like. This is just such a fantastic series, spoiler alert, in terms of if I do a top five on Sunday. And Night of Knives takes place, I think, I can't tell you how many years before the events of the first book, Gardens of the Moon, in the Malazan universe. That said, everything that takes place is constantly referred to over at least the first 5 books that I've read. And having the information of why that is, up to the point that I'm at after Midnight Tides, kind of made, I guess, the enjoyment of Night of Knives that much better. So I guess I just needed to talk through that myself to get to that conclusion. And I read a little bit more, I think another few chapters of the Berserk Deluxe Edition. We're into volume 14, I believe, and we're kind of in the heat of the Lost Children. We're starting to understand. I'm going to talk spoilers for Berserk right now, guys, so if you don't want to know, you can tune out. 3, 2, 1, go. We've got to past Casca right now. We're on Guts, journeying through. He meets Jill, I believe the name of the little girl is, who is trying to pull the best out of Guts, and it's just not working. He's incessantly murdering these bugs that also happen to be children, and it's pretty dark. But in terms of all the things we've seen Guts go through right now, this is nothing. Although I hear every single arc, it gets worse and worse. So I thought the Eclipse was as bad as it gets. If you guys missed it, myself, Tom Orange, again, the Red Company, Alex, Chris, and Jake did a conversation over on Chris's channel. It was intentional. I was intentional about getting it on my channel, but when we were setting up the stream for 30 minutes, I was having technical difficulties, just simply because I'm not fluent in the technological StreamYard space. But we have that posted over on Chris from Bearded Book Beast's channel. I'll put the link of the video down in the description below so you guys can watch if you missed it. We talked about everything up into the Eclipse and probably a little beyond, not much further, because we really wanted to talk about the Golden Age. And our plan is to have another discussion about the Conviction arc at some point, as soon as I guess we get there. So I believe that's up to volume 21. You guys can correct me in the comments below. But yes, that is my Guts read. My Berserk read so far. And you can kind of see the new setup we have up here with these Berserk Deluxe editions. I'm going to put this down here because we're going to get into the next segment. So we have what I finished reading. We have what I finished reading. We have what I'm currently reading. And then I'm going to tie this in because I started We Are the Dead today. I read the first bit of it. This one looks like and sounds like one I will be cruising through, similar to the last 2 books that I did this past week. My intention is to be done by the end of next week because I believe we'll be having a discussion on December 2nd. I believe it's a Monday or maybe the 3rd over on Jake's channel. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you guys will get an update in the community tab. Everything that everybody in our group chat is saying about this book is it passed with flying colors. The ending was amazing. So I'm really excited to get into it. I know Mike Shackle was a big Joe Abercrombie fan, and I'm already seeing that, like a chapter in meeting the first character. And I'm very, very excited to get into this story because I can use a little, I know it's crazy after having read Knight of Knives and just the chaos that ensued in that book, but I could use a little traditional grimdark in that sense in my life. I've been the Black Company, the Dread Empire books have been calling back to me just simply because whenever I read Malazan, I'm like, oh man, I really want to read the books that inspired those books. And E.N.C. Esselmont's writing, I'm going back to the Knight of Knives here really quick. It really was reminiscent, like as far as, and Jake has said this before, the atmosphere that he is able to write, whereas the characterization that Steven Erikson is able to write, they complement each other so well. It's bizarre. If they wrote in the same book, it would be absolutely insane. I don't know if they have done that. Maybe they have. You guys can correct me. And so, sorry, back to what I'm currently reading. I'm reading We Are the Dead. If I finish it up before Thanksgiving, I'm going to get The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway out of the way. Tom Orange said that this ranks as his favorite Ernest Hemingway books, of the books that he's read. It's a quick enough read. I can get this done in a day, easy. And so that's what I'm going to get done. And then we have this here, if I have extra time. If not, I'm going to push to next month. We have the 10,000, which was actually recommended to me in the comments, I think, on my top 10 video, my top 10 book video. And this is one that I'm really looking forward to getting into, a novel of ancient Greece. It's 400 some odd pages in mass market. I feel like I can pull that one out relatively quick as well. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of words on these pages, you see. So that is my reading update, guys. I'm going to move into my writing. Before I do that, I want to, again, thank you guys for tuning in to the video, stopping by the channel. Leave your comments down below with what you're currently reading, things that you'd like to get into. Leave anything, really, down below, within reason, and I'll respond. I love having those conversations in the comments. Love talking to you guys about stories in general. So that is that. Another quick channel update is Jake got 1,000 subscribers, and we did a 1,000 subscriber live stream over on his channel, Their Level Rising. Please go congratulate him. Please go check out that video if you haven't already. I assume that you have. But yeah, please just go check it out. Now we're going to talk about my writing again. Thank you guys for tuning in and scene. Now we're talking about writing. So as of last week's update, Book 2's draft 1 was done. And so I dove back into Book 1's draft because I'm working it the rest of this month going into December before it goes off to my editor, who I will reveal after asking their permission first, because our correspondence has halted until they receive my manuscript. So I'm put myself on a deadline for December 1st, and I may push to December 5th just based on where I'm at in the book. Currently, I'm up to chapter 19. I've worked through the first 18 chapters plus the 3-part before, and I am making steady progress, going through the notes of my alpha readers that they gave me and using them, where I see fit. And obviously there's some things that need change, like adjusting more so, just minor adjustments, and to make things a little bit, not more accessible, but just more, I wanted to engage and pull the reader into the story in a different way. And going through this particular draft, I'm really focusing on that and working on that and ironing that out. I'll probably do another character voice pass after my developmental edits, just in general. And then we'll get it to the proofreader / copy editor. And then, beta readers will have it, and so on and so forth. So that's just some updates for you guys in that realm. Myself, and I actually had Slay. I don't know if you guys know Slay in the community. I'm just going to give him a quick shout out. Reached out. I'm very grateful for the correspondence we've had, and just him talking about his story and the inspirations behind it. And I sent him over some things that we've been talking on Discord through John from Talking Stories Patreon. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to just getting stories out to you guys, essentially, is what I'm saying. And it's been a nice kind of preview for me to get that experience with somebody, other than obviously alpha readers and so on. But just having that experience with you guys in general, it's amazing for me. It's really cool to see where this story could go and where it's going, and the experiences that we can all share through story in general. And I know we do that in the comments, talking about our books that we read, all the time. It's just really cool that it's something that a story that I'm writing that I also want to read. I want to be a part of that journey, and I am. And yeah, so working on some proofreading of a short Dear Reader, not like the nonfiction, conversation between you and I, that will be going up on Substack in January. I will be launching a Substack. I'll make sure everything's kind of squared away in December. It's not in the description below or anything right now, but it will be there. You guys will be able to read some of my work, and then we're going to put up a short story shortly after that, likely 4 or 5 days, maybe a week after. But yeah, so right now we're up to chapter 19 in book 1 in terms of my pre-edit draft. One of my pre-edit drafts that is going to my editor. 19 of 50 total chapters, if you include the before and the after as chapters. So yeah, there's 19 of 50 are complete right now, and I'll likely leave that in the description below. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It's a quick one. It's been having my head down into the laptop lately, and it's life, just working and trying to make sure that I'm able to put out some quality work for you guys. And obviously for myself, I want to give it the attention it's due. I'll see you guys next week, hopefully. If not, you'll see me in 2 weeks. Otherwise, have a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. Otherwise, just enjoy the week, enjoy the weekend, and either next week or in 2 weeks. See you guys.